Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Disney. We're going to give you a daily dose of dismal Disney because we're going to talk about how Disney fans are turning on Disney. This is interesting. I don't think we covered this one before. This was from like a week ago.
We've covered many things similar.
This
is the latest flavor.
Yeah, this is like Disney super fans turning on Disney for a variety of reasons.
We used to be like, we were like Disney super fans too. And there's still aspects I still like about Disney. I'd like to see it go back to being, make Disney great again, being great again. But, we were big time fans, so much so that we decided to start doing Disney blogs and a podcast and everything and get on the media list and all that because we liked it so much. And, I'm probably going to agree with a lot of these people. I haven't read what their reasons yet. I'll have you read them and I'll look at them. But I'm sure it's a lot of the same things we've been saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. So let's talk about this. Let's take a look at this because, Disney's going to have a lot more competition. And we did do a video talking about how Magic Kingdom was the only Disney park on this year's top 10 lists for TripAdvisor.
Yep.
Which is kind of embarrassing because all of Universal's were on the list. Dollywood was at the top of the list.
Yeah, for the U.S. parks, yeah.
Yeah.
So Universal and Dollywood made the list for global, too.
Yeah.
So...
So, before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So, this was originally coming from Cinema Blend, and they recycled it on Yahoo Life. But they said that a recent Twitter thread has gone viral, which laments not only the increasing cost of the park, but the fact that many services that used to be offered have disappeared for free.
Totally.
Yeah. This means that people are now paying even higher prices, but getting less than they used to for the money.
Which is funny because ironic, because we were talking about this earlier today in the other video we released this morning, talking about why there are fewer children. Disney's trying to target kids as the audience, and there's fewer kids. And part of the reason in the article they mentioned was that there's fewer people going to the parks. They're just charging those people more money.
Yeah.
So
it's being suggested this will ultimately, or perhaps already has, result in people being done with Disney World.
It's resulting in people being done with Disney World. A lot of people, they've done studies or finding they're going to places like Great Wolf Lodge. They're going to local parks, Dollywood, places like that are picking up because of it.
So let's go out to this guy's original thread. This is Damon Vinci.
Okay.
Okay, here's my issue with Disney as of late. Disney was a leader in the theme park space. Yes.
Yep.
Nobody did it better. Literally nobody did it better. Yep. The food was better. The cast members were better. The themes were better. The inclusions and perks were better. It was more expensive than other places.
The Disney difference. It was the Disney difference.
Yes, but you got much better quality than other places. You really felt like there was value. Magical Express was amazing.
Yep, and they completely got rid of it.
That comes up. That actually comes up in the comments.
True story. For those who don't know, Magic Express, here says they pick up your bags and deliver them to your room. Your vacation is starting left the house. Okay. Magic Express was at the Orlando airport. And what would happen would be you go down and they'd put you on the bus that would take you to your resort. And then when you need to go back to the airport, they would pick you up at the resort and take you back to the airport. And so you didn't have to worry about how it's going to get from the airport to the parks. One of the reasons, because Neon has said, why don't you go down with the kids? Because I know Pinky Boo wants to go down really bad. And then why don't you go down with the kids and then go to the parks? Is because I don't want to try to, I don't want to just try to get into like an Uber or something like that. I don't know anybody. Magic Express was safe. And the whole thought of trying to get from the airport to the hotel and back again is just like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
You already pay enough to get them. The airport's bad enough. Again, the plane getting down there is always a pain in the ass. And then you have to find a Lyft or an Uber and all this other stuff. Now, I do know there's some cast members that when there was, the layoffs and stuff, they started doing their own things. And they turned around and started doing their own catering things or hair. They do like their own makeovers. They'll come to your room and do makeovers. I know some of them will do pick up and drop off at the airports as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
You said you could prepay for meals so you weren't flipping out.
Your wallet.
Flipping out your wallet and feeling like
you're still flip out because those meals cost.
Yeah, well, you could prepay for them so you weren't seeing what each individual menu item cost. And you're like, $23 for a hamburger.
The prices are ridiculous. And again, we've talked about this many times. When you're down there, you're in the bubble, and it's like, oh, that's only $10, $12 for a snack? Well, that's a pretty good deal.
Only $6 for a tiny thermal detonator, 6-ounce thermal detonator of Coke? What a bargain. It only
cost us $200 for us to eat at this restaurant. Never mind, that's a full grocery order for like, 2 or 3 weeks. But
Yeah, right? They said now you feel like you're being nickel and dimed every step of the way. Magic Bands and Fast Passes were included.
Yep, they have to pay for Magic Bands separately.
I can't believe
and
that.
Fast Passes is now Genie Plus and Lightning Lane.
Cast members can make magic happen for you at any point of your stay. That is true.
I think they still do, but they're probably, I don't know how limited
they're probably tired. And they realize now, like, as soon as the pandemic happened, you were no longer family, you were employees.
Well, I think they lost a lot of their good people at that point.
They went to Universal.
Some people did. Now the base entry to get in is crazy, $200 plus a night to stay at the All-Stars, 120 plus a day in the parks, 150 plus to attend a party, true, 50 plus for dinner. Then add lightning lanes, and you're asking anywhere from $25 to $40 per person per day, and plus single pass for another $10 to $30 per person per attraction. Yeah, now see the parties. Yeah, the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. The prices have gone up exponentially in the last few years.
Yeah,
like significantly. It's like nuts how much they've gone up. And you could pay $150 is the low end. They go up to like 200, 220, I think, for Christmas.
I remember when the parties were like
70, 60.
70, 60. Yeah.
And we're talking like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just, look, I understand things get more expensive, but holy hell, even when I was a kid back in my day, but like going to Disneyland, it was like 20, 25 bucks a person to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, well, that was how many years ago?
I know, but still, yeah, okay, it was like 30 years ago, but still, it's just so far removed from Disney now. And Disney World's always been more expensive, but it's just crazy. Lack of transparency. The Moldy Pass could be 20, it could be 40. That's just everything. When they started this bullshit, I'm going to call it bullshit. When they started this bullshit with the tickets being flexible prices depending on,
oh my gosh, yes,
what day it was. I mean, why do you think Wendy's is looking at this like, oh yeah, we could do that too?
Here's
flexible
how it was.
pricing.
It was like it went by the time of year, like off season and stuff like that, was depending on the pricing per day. And then they got this bright idea that we're just going to make it, every day is going to be different depending on what our algorithm tells us is going to be the busiest day, so we can get the most money. And it used to be whatever your first day of park visits were, that would be the same price across the board. So like if you were going, your ticket was $80 because you happened to pick a low day, it was going to be $80 for every day, even if it went up to 120 that day if you started your week then. Well, they changed that now that you pay the price per day no matter what. And then, but on top of that, you have to pay record high prices. And then you have to pay, if you want to actually ride stuff, you have to pay more money. It's
ridiculous. Like I said, the ticket anymore to get at the gate is basically a cover charge.
Pretty much. And then the Genie Plus, well, Lightning Lane, it was a set price. And now that varies per day too.
Yeah. And again, going back to that other video we did, they basically said that Disney's just maximizing the amount of money that they can get out of each guest because they know they're not actually getting more people to go to Disney World. Like the number of people that are interested in going to Disney World, there's a finite number of them, and a lot of them now don't even have kids, and they're not doing these trips anymore. They can't afford it for whatever reason. So now we're just going to start nickel and diming the people that still go.
That's what they're doing. For an average family of 4, you're talking anywhere between 100 to 200 extra expenses per day. The virtual queue is an issue. You take people who would otherwise be in line for a ride and put them into the rest of the park, which elevates wait times everywhere else. Because, yeah, normally if people were in the standby line for something and then you have a 2-hour wait or whatever, an hour and a half wait, a lot of people were in that line. But now since they have a return time set, they're out doing other stuff until the return time comes. So that you're right. It's putting them back into the parks because that encourages people to pay for the Lightning Lane so that you can get to the faster line, which is actually what the regular line used to be. And now the regular line is ridiculous. Much worse than it was.
Yeah. Yeah. He's talking about, Rise of the Resistance and just you don't know what your Disney trip is going to cost until you get there. It used to be like you would pay for everything or as much as you could in advance. And that was it. You'd buy a package, you'd get your hotel, you get your tickets. The Fast Passes were included. They'd mail you Magic Bands.
Yeah, the Magic Bands were included. Yes.
That was great. I mean, they were kind of the boring gray ones. You could get the different colors, I guess, if you asked for it. But like, they would do all that stuff for you. Parking was included if you went to the hotel.
They are again, but they took that away.
Magic Express, so you got from the airports, that was all included.
And you make sure you got there safely. Yes.
They said, the legacy of Disney is being tarnished, and while they will ride the coattails of their brand for a while, it is wearing out. Guests who made repeated trips are no longer doing that.
I've seen some people say they're canceling their annual passes.
Yeah, we canceled ours. I mean, we
don't go down enough, and it's just like it's such a hassle and so expensive. I don't know if I'm going to go back down.
We used to go down sometimes multiple times per month. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
and
we sometimes be in Disneyland and then Disney World, and then you know 2 or 3 times in 1 month. I'm so burnt out on it, and it's so complicated. And there's definitely a difference pre-pandemic versus post-pandemic in Disney. So guests who made repeated trips are no longer doing that. They're telling their friends how awful the experience was. Now, new guests will be one and done, and that's the end. I mean, especially for the expense. Then right out under this, I think it's funny. I think it's funny too. I was going to mention it.
We just did a video about the Disney leak. You can check that one out. This person says Disney Glimpses says one of the largest archives in the Disney leak, nearly 30 gig, is a channel called Cats, where cast members and employees share photos and videos of their cats.
But I think that's wholesome and cute. Like. That's cute.
Cast members still make it worth it.
So what are the comments on this?
Well, okay. So here are some of the ones they have in the article. We can go out to the original post too and check. This person said that the end of the Magical Express was a big one for them. They said that they visited every year since 1973. My dad took us when I had my own kids. We went 2 to 3 times a year staying on site. Moved to Florida in 2007, had a premium annual pass and visited frequently. It sounds like us and people we know. Noticeable changes happened around 2017. Yes, that is an important date. Stopped going completely for reasons you state. Sad, really. We started to notice, I think, the decline about 2017, 2018. And 2017 was when they first added the new scene to Pirates.
Well,
they took the lunch
and then
auction.
was in 2018 and 2019 they dropped that. 2019, I think, when they dropped all the price hikes and the annual passes went up like really, really high.
Yeah, and somewhere in there, that's when the whole flexible pricing thing happened.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there is when they did the stupid cabanas in Tomorrowland.
Oh yeah, like $700 a day.
Right, and that's when it was very clear that they were just all about upcharging the existing consumers they had.
So I got a funny story. So we were staying at the Grand Californian at Disneyland for a media thing we were at, and it was nighttime. The pool was going to close soon. It was like late. We were just waiting for you to come back to from a media thing, and I took the kids down to the pool because they wanted to go swim. So we were down the pool, and I was sitting on it was all no one else was there, just us, and then a cast member was coming in and out, moving around, and we were there swimming, and the kids were swimming, and I was sitting on a lounge chair at the edge of the thing, and I got told I had. That she was very nice about it, but I got told I had to move because those lounge chairs are the ones they charge a whole bunch of money for people to have exclusive access to the lounge chair. I'm like, literally, it's going to close and there's nobody here, but I had to move my peasant ass off the exclusive, expensive lounge chairs that I didn't pay how much money to sit at because it was going to close soon, and it was dark and there was literally no one else there.
You should be like, excuse me, my husband's eating over at Carthy Circle with a whole bunch of Disney people. I
know, right?
Right now.
I mean, it wasn't the cast member's fault. They
I can't have a damn lounge chair.
I mean, the cast member wasn't their fault. They thought it was ridiculous too. You could tell by the way they said it. That they thought it was absolutely stupid.
Oh, it was.
But they were like, but I have to tell you.
But that's what they're doing. Like, well,
yes.
I was waiting for them to start like charging for the towels. Do they start charging for the towels now?
We joked about fast passes, or that they're going to charge you to use the bathroom. Remember, we on one of our old podcasts, you said, you're going to have to get charged for if you're using the toilet.
A lot of people had annual passes. They're not
I've
renewing
heard this
them.
so many times.
So many people. We had our APs for years. Yeah, and they jumped. I forget what year it was. It was
like 2018 or 2019.
It was 2018. Yeah,
again, it was so bad that I know, like, Pete Warner, who was over at the Diz, he stopped getting his one pass for Disneyland, Disney World because he said it was too expensive.
Pete Warner, I never had a problem with Pete Warner. I used to run into him at the different events and stuff. I always thought he was an okay guy. I guess people who worked with him had a difference of opinion, but I remember he went on a tear about the annual passes, and he was like, "This is ridiculous." He had the super extra califragilistic one that basically it's the key to the world. Is that what it's called? Where you get like both coasts?
I remember it was the big one.
The big one. He had the big one, and he's like, this is probably the first year that I'm not going to renew it because it was over $1,000 at that point. It was insane. But yeah, we had annual passes for years.
Yeah, they're saying, like, I even sent talk about they're sad about their passes. I even sent an email explaining all the reasons. Though I know they don't care. They used to care. They used to. They used to, like, one thing with Disney that was Disney difference was if you had like a complaint and it was a valid complaint and I feel complained about it, they would listen.
Yeah.
Don't now.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about DAS. Oh, I can't tell you how many people I keep seeing post after post of people being denied DAS. And what makes me so angry is there's always these people on these Disney fan boards that are like, well, it's not for you though. And they're like, if people wouldn't abuse it, you know, we wouldn't be in this situation. And they're like people who have legitimate things that you're like, you should have got a DAS pass. That's bad. And they're just like, well, Disney doesn't think it's bad enough. And they get so nasty with these people. But they'll give you accommodations. People have tried the accommodations. So like, I gladly will try them. And they said that they're not working very well. Now, that being said, I know like at Rise of the Resistance, they're trying something, and I'm wondering if they're going to do something with this for other attractions. They started adding a single rider line. I don't know if they're still doing it. They were testing it out. If you go to the exit of the Rise of Resistance, they were somebody standing there with a single rider, and they were bringing you through. And now you missed most of the attraction's 18 minutes, but of the attraction, it's a whole Ray and company presentation,
right,
and then there's you're on the shuttle with the Mon Calamari guy and all that stuff. And then you get let out into the hangar with the stormtroopers. This circumvents that and goes right to the hangar. But it's taking people through with one lane on the left, and then they're getting through within a few minutes. I'm wondering if they're not going to do that for those who don't get a DAS pass but need accommodation, that if they're going to be like trying to find a way to help them get through the line. Because what's going on is they're basically like, your party can wait in the line and you can join them later. And that's great, except how do you get back to your party without causing fights or stepping on people? Or if you're of disabilities, it's really hard for you to do that. So they need either merge points or something like that. So DAS has been an ongoing big time problem. A lot of people are canceling their annual passes and trips over DAS. Sorry, continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. That has come up.
I'm just more knowledgeable on this because I deal with it every day.
But there are a lot of reasons, and they actually mentioned in the article, they're like, Universal is going to make them work harder for their money. And that's the thing. If you have a finite number of families that can afford to go to these theme parks, and I don't know if Universal is overall going to be less expensive. I think they're going to have to probably raise their prices, or they will raise their prices.
I'm sure they will.
Epic Universe. But
I'm sure. I mean, first, they're going to have to, and they're only limiting you one day. You have to buy 3 days of tickets to go there for one day.
Yeah, but lots of people here, they say, I used to go with my family every couple of years for a week. Went from an amusement park that entertained and was fun to a money drain that sold only the promise of those things. Standing, sweating in lines for 12 hours a day for 10 minutes of entertainment is not fun.
No.
This guy says, gone are the days where we used to just load up and go to the parks and have a great day doing all the fun activities.
Yeah, you have to plan everything. Yeah. It's so ridiculous. You have to, it's like what our son says, it's a lesson in logistics.
Yes, it's not fun. It's not fun like it used to be.
I felt bad because we were down with my sister and my nephew a couple years ago for his graduation, and I felt bad because they're like, they wanted to take more time to enjoy stuff and there's things they wanted to do. And I was like, we have to go. And I wasn't trying to be a nag, but the thing is, it's like, if you want to get on the things you wanted to get on, they were going to need to listen to what I was telling them. And it sucks because they're like, it didn't used to be this way. No, it didn't. And it sucks, but you kind of need to know where you're going and go if you're going to actually, you have to choose. Do I want to actually ride things, or do I want to just, stand in line and wander around all day?
Yeah, a lot of people said they go. This person proposed to their girlfriend decades ago at Walt Disney World. A lot of people were like, you used to just need a ticket. Now there's different levels and fees on top of it. I'd never ever thought I'd be among those who decided not to return to Walt Disney World. I loved going, but I must admit that the new rules, the changes, the fast pass, and possibility of getting dinner reservations.
Yeah, it's really high and really hard to get them now.
Yeah, it made it too much work and too little fun. I'd always qualify for DAS. And now they've made it so challenging that those of us who need it can't get
A lot of people aren't getting it who really probably should get it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people, and make no mistake, Disney is, in my opinion, not doing this because they actually are trying to make the experience better for people who, people waiting in line don't get scammed. It's about the fact that people using DAS were not having to buy their Lightning Lane. And now their answer is, well, you don't qualify for DAS, but I'll help you buy Lightning Lane. And I bet you might be like, wow, DAS ended and our profits went up. More per capita spending.
Yeah, this person said they spent $1,000 for a family of 5 for one day in Disneyland.
Doesn't surprise me, actually.
Like
I'm sure they have gone to a couple of restaurants. Well, not really. If tickets, 5 people, and
125,
and then the Genie Plus Lightning Lane.
Yeah, and then souvenirs and food, and you could spend $1,000.
And their hotels are more expensive there than they are at Walt Disney World too.
Yeah, everybody says it's such a hassle now. Boils down to greed. Yeah. Profit is one thing, mega profits another. mega corporations. I mean, Walt's rolling in his grave, sad. Used to be a fun place for
Walt
kids.
wanted it to be a family place, and now families can't afford to go.
This person said, I thought, wow, they're really bringing out all the Debbie Downers. I never thought I'd leave Disney. It's not fun anymore. Walt said, here at Disneyland, everyone's a VIP. Now you have to pay and use those confusing apps to even get a seat at a table.
Oh, yeah, mobile order and everything. You have to do all that, know how to use all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of people are going to go into it not knowing how to do any of it. And they're going to be so frustrated. I know we talked to a lady who went down and she went one time. She went one day. And because the lines were so terrible, and this is back before they added a bunch. I think this is maybe when they still had Fast Pass, before they made it as hard as it is now. It was so miserable for her. She's like, I'll never go back, and I'm telling everyone I know not to go. And that was before they made it worse.
Yeah, and then here we are. We've got what reports of empty parks now, and I think the word is getting out that Disney is ridiculously expensive and not fun, and the economy is not good. And, you know, if you're going to cut something, it's like, well, it's real easy to cut something that's, you know, $1,000 a day, and it's confusing as hell. And I'll tell you, like, again, you know, we talked about going back down. I'm like, God, last time was so, like, last couple times have been so regimented. Now, it was understandable during the pandemic. We actually went down during the pandemic, but it's just like, I'm looking at it now. I'm like, God, it's such a hassle. It used to be great. You would just, you know, you paid what you paid and you go down and you took some extra money for souvenirs or whatever. And a lot of times, like, we would get the meal plans. We'd have leftover snack credits. We'd bring a whole bunch of, you know, like candy back or whatever. And you can't, I don't think you can do that anymore. It's so ridiculous. But are we going to wrap this up?
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.